Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest Podcast, the podcast where nerds talk about nerdy things. On this, we're going to say bonus episode of the podcast. E3 was this week, and all I'm going to say is it was a time, and, you know, Ubisoft went kind of boring, Xbox went pretty good, everyone else pretty lackluster and kind of boring, and then Nintendo, Papa Nintendo, came in and saved us from the disaster that was E3. So today, I'm joined by Mr. Colyn with no eye, and we are here to talk about Nintendo's E3 2021 Direct. It's been 2 years. Colyn, what did you think of this Direct?
Well, it was pretty good. There were definitely some moments where I was just like, yeah, okay. I don't really care. But I think that's how a lot of people can feel about this. So it's like, why not? But one thing I'll say is I feel a lot of people are just like, this is either really good or really bad. There's no in between. Where honestly, I think there wasn't a lot of disappointment. I mean, there's always going to be disappointment in some regard. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. There's always going to be some form of disappointment in announcements. So I think it's just better to look at the good stuff and stuff like that, which, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. So
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a lot of pressure placed on Nintendo to come in and, quote, save E3 because it had been such a mediocre show. And I think they definitely did that in what they announced today, just from, you know, Metroid to Breath of the Wild 2 to, like, a new Mario Party game. Like, they definitely did a lot better than the other companies.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, for myself, I was looking forward to the Direct in the sense that, like, we'd get a lot more Zelda news than we got. And I don't want to say it was a bad Direct. I don't think it was a bad Direct. I honestly think it was probably better than the one we got in February, just because it didn't feel like it was drawn out as much as the February one did. So in that sense, I think this was a good Direct. For me personally, it was okay. One, because we didn't get a lot of Zelda stuff, and two, because there's just not a lot of games here that I'm looking forward to playing. Like, I'll probably end up playing, like, Metroid and Mario Party and stuff, but on the front of, like, oh, I'm running out to pre-order this game right now.
Yeah.
There was none of that like there was in the last Direct, so it was good overall, is what I think.
Yes. But, I mean, like, there definitely were, I think, fans who were very happy with this Direct. Like, Tekken fans getting somebody in Smash. That was really cool with Kazuya. I think both Nick and I have never played Tekken, so we had no idea who this was.
Yeah, I was genuinely a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
And it also didn't help that, like, when I was watching the stream, I was watching a content creator, like, their stream, and their stream blacked out, like, halfway through. Or not halfway through, like, right after you see Ganondorf, it blacked out. And I was like, oh, wow. Is that a Zelda character? Are they doing a Zelda character for Smash? And then I jumped back in, and it was, like, this random guy that I'd never seen. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty then.
See, I mean, I'm most definitely biased, as I am a very big supporter of having Goro Majima from the Yakuza series get into Smash. But, you know, that's just because I've been on a massive Yakuza binge. So
I heard a rumor that Master Chief is going to be the last Smash fighter, which
they did.
I wouldn't be opposed to, but at the same time, it's like, do we really only have, like, honestly speaking, do you think they're going to announce a Volume 3 of Fighters Pass, or do you think we're done?
I think we're done. Like, honestly, I would hope we're done because, like, my boy Sakurai needs a break. Like, he really needs a break. He has been working on Smash Ultimate like nonstop for the past 10 years. Not 10 years, like 2 years. He's working on Smash for the last 10 years nonstop. But I mean, my man needs a break. So I hope this is the last
Yeah.
Fighters Pass. So.
And I also feel like I feel like Smash Ultimate is pretty done. Like it's gonna be weird to get directs in the future where there is no Smash character revealed. Like there's just none of that to look forward to.
Oh, 100%.
But at the same time, it's like I think we need to be done. Like I think it's time to be done with Smash.
Yeah. Like I love Smash. I love the Smash series. I think it's honestly what a lot of people have grown up with. Like I personally grew up with Brawl, but I know there were some people who grew up with Melee, and I mean there are people who even to this day still like play Smash competitively. And I mean, I never wanted to get into that scene just because like I'm not that good at the game, and I don't want to dedicate like a couple like 100 hours a week just into playing Smash. But I'm definitely happy for like all the Tekken fans who, you know, finally got some representation in Smash.
Yeah. So after, you know, we got our Smash reveal, we got like they did like quite a few of the headline segments, which I thought was interesting because they announced like the Life is Strange games, Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix, which was revealed by Square. I think it was Sunday.
One of the only good things that came from the Square Enix presentation.
I was shocked when they showed it running on Switch, and I was like, oh, well, that's impressive. I didn't know they got it running on Switch. And then it was announced as a cloud version. Like, it's not an actual cartridge version, which I was really looking forward to playing it, but I do not have consistent enough internet to play a cloud version of a game.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like my Xbox could run it either. So,
yeah.
Whew, my Xbox is a fair number of years old.
Yeah, same. I still have the original Xbox One.
I have an Xbox One S
that released way back in 2013. So I have almost an 8-year-old Xbox.
Dang.
Yep.
That's rough.
Yeah. So, I'm excited for Life is Strange, because I've never actually played that series, and I've heard good things. So I've really wanted to. I've heard there's like some iffy bits in the writing, and I'm like, yikes. But I've heard overall they're good games, so I would 100% probably play them at some point.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I've heard people talk really highly about the Life is Strange games.
Yeah, I am hopeful for Guardians of the Galaxy, but like after Avengers, I don't know how to feel about the Square games. Also, I'd like to point out that on the article we're reading, it does not say Marvel, it says Marvs. I don't know who Marv is, but good job making a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Who doesn't love Marv?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yo, Marv. But after Guardians of the Galaxy, we got Astria Ascending, which the art on that game looks actually beautiful. Like,
yes,
I'm loving the art from that game, but I don't know how to feel about it. It honestly kind of looks like a mobile game, though. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it looks like
in the presentation, I see where you're coming from. It does give off that vibe.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the weird thing about Switch is a lot of mobile games get ported to Switch. Or like, because the Switch, in essence, is just a mobile console that can be docked and played at home.
Yeah.
So I understand why. It's just like, it kind of brings the Switch down a little bit when you're like, look at all these, big AAA console games. And then, oh yeah, we also have like handheld mobile games you could get for free on the App Store.
Yeah. Though what was very funny was the entire whiplash from going from Astria Ascending to 2 Point Campus.
Yeah.
Literally goes from this really like gritty looking RPG to freaking Sims.
Yeah, it's Sims Lite on Switch because apparently EA doesn't want to get the cash grab that would be putting Sims on Switch.
Yeah. Then after 2 Point Campus, because who cared for that game? We have
No one.
we have the first kind of big announcement, which is Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I was very excited because I haven't actually played the Monkey Ball series, but I've seen people play them, particularly Intoxicated, and it is very funny. But Super Monkey Ball, I've always wanted to play, so I'm glad it's coming to Switch, and I probably will pick it up at some point. And one thing, going back to the Yakuza series, the person who made Monkey Ball, with the creator of Monkey Ball, was also the creator of the Yakuza series. Which, man, I would love for them to be on Switch, but I doubt they would be able to handle it.
Yeah, Switch says no, which is another reason we need a Switch Pro. But
100%.
After this direct, I don't know where we stand on Switch Pro at this point.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to go out and say it's fake, but at the same time, it's like, if it's coming out, it's definitely been moved back to next year.
Probably.
Because there are a lot of games, like most of the games for next year seem like they would run really well on a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
Like, I think they'll run fine on the normal Switch if there is no Switch Pro, but it would look a lot nicer on a Switch Pro.
After Super Monkey Ball, we got Mario Party Superstars, which
I was shocked.
I was very shocked that they did that.
I was shocked they brought up a new Mario Party game because the other one just got an online update like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Though I think this one might be a little bit more well received than Super Mario Party because it's actually N64 stuff and everyone loves the N64 Mario Parties. So I can have hope for that. I was honestly waiting for it to be like, and this is limited time until this date.
Yeah, that was one thing about this direct is nothing in here was limited time at all, which I think is great.
Yeah,
I really hope they learned their lesson from the 3D All-Stars debacle last year where it was limited run, which was a terrible idea.
Because it's still in stock. Nobody bought it. Like, everyone was like, oh yeah, well, we'll probably all buy it. And then they just kept restocking it until it was done, and it's still here. Like,
it's because nobody wants it.
Well, nobody wants it now because it's limited time. And they want to probably have it keep it on the shelves for as long as they can to be like, yeah, look at this, Nintendo. Yeah, limited time.
Yeah, I have my physical copy, and I'm okay to keep that sucker locked away for eternity.
I don't even have the physical copy. I got it digitally.
Oh, cringe.
I don't like my physical copies. I'm not ever great with keeping up with cartridges, so.
Fair enough.
Then we have, we got a little bit of the Mario and Rabbids game, didn't we?
Yeah, that came later on in the direct. I gotta say, I think it looks good. I think I'm gonna get it. I never played the first one, but this one seems like it's gonna be a lot better than the first one.
Yes.
And it has successfully caught my interest.
I am going to always have nightmares about freaking Rabid Luma.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, that thing looks terrifying. It will be in my nightmares. It is a sleep paralysis demon, and it does not deserve to exist.
Well, too bad it does.
Yeah. After that, we got
a new Metroid
game. We got the next big thing. We got Metroid Dread. With also, beforehand, got a little bit of info about Metroid Prime 4. That it still exists. It's still a thing.
It's real. They didn't forget about it.
It is real. They didn't forget about it. And we got a new 2D Metroid. Though what's weird is they said it's the first 2D Metroid in 19 years, which isn't correct because it wasn't the first 2D. It was the first, technically, new 3D Metroid because they actually released Samus Returns, which was I believe on the 3DS like 3 years ago. Which was a remake of Metroid 2, I think. But yeah, so they're either trying to forget about Samus Returns. I think it was Samus Returns.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were, because isn't that the one that was received really poorly because it came out at the tail end of the 3DS and like right into the Switch, and it was like, well, why isn't this just a Switch game?
It might have been, but the one that was received very, very poorly was Metroid Prime Federation Force.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Was because it was announced right before or right after Metroid Prime 4 got announced, and everyone was like, yo, this might actually be an okay game. And then it freaking flopped. Like, it was a terrible game. Because people just wanted Metroid Prime 4.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. It's Metroid Samus Returns. It was released in 2017. I did not know that. I thought that was a 2018 game. But yeah, it is... Yeah, it's Metroid 2 Return of Samus. That's what it was a remake of. So... Huh. Alright. I'm excited, though, for Metroid Dread. Like...
I am, too. I've never played a 2D Metroid game, but I think I would be willing to give this one a shot, because it does look very interesting, and also, like, there's a lack of games for me to play this fall.
Pretty much.
So I wouldn't be opposed to trying it out.
Yeah. For me, though, I actually have never played a 2D Metroid game at all. I've wanted to. I've wanted to play Metroid Prime, but Super Metroid. That's what I'm thinking of. I've wanted to play Super Metroid for a long time, and my friends have screamed at me to play Super Metroid, and I'm just like, okay, I'll play it at some point. But I've also really wanted to play the Prime series before 4 comes out. But yeah, Metroid Dread. It looks really good. I love the aesthetic that they're going for with it. And Samus's suit looks great.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Like, it looks great. And those amiibo look good. But,
I didn't like the suit, like the color scheme at first, but as I looked at it more, it's really grown on me in, like, the last few hours.
The reason I like it so much is I think it's because it's a kind of a mashup of all of Samus's suits from the series. Like, it's, there are bits of the suits from, Fusion. There's bits and pieces from I think Metroid 2. Well, Metroid 2 is a Game Boy game, but what am I thinking of? Basically, Samus Returns. There was just a lot of things from. I think it really does take a lot of inspiration from Fusion, because Fusion was a GBA game, and I wanted to play Fusion because I've heard really good things about it. So I need to brush up on my Metroid, but it looks real good.
Yeah. And then of course after Metroid, we got Just Dance.
Just Dance.
I don't think anybody was worried about Just Dance coming to Switch. Like, I think we all knew it was coming to Switch.
Yeah.
And then Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I mean, that was leaked months ago because, like, I think it was one of the... Is it Bandai Namco who handles the Dragon Ball games? They accidentally leaked it on their website, and it said, like, Nintendo Switch underneath it. So, not a big shock, but, it's there for people who want it.
I mean, I didn't really care about... I didn't really care about Kakarot that much. It's weird. They were like, relive the story of Goku. And I'm like, I've relived the story of Goku about 400 times.
Exactly. Like,
give us a different game. Like, I understand you want to keep to the source material of Dragon Ball Z, but, like, give us a different game. Give us a Gohan game. Or give us, like, a Boo game. Or something like that. Like,
yeah, try something new instead of just rehashing what you've already done.
Don't do the story of Goku, but it's an RPG. Anyway, after that, we got golf. We
Golf.
Go!
Golf comes out in like
Go!
10 days.
Go! I also like how it was like, hey, pre-orders are available now. And I was just like,
Game comes out in 10
I was
days.
like, doesn't that game come out in like 2 weeks?
Yeah. I mean, I know why it was there. It just feels like, did we really need it there? It comes out in 10 days.
Yeah. There was one thing I realized that was absent from the Direct was Splatoon 3
Yeah.
was completely absent. Like, I understand it's coming out in 2022, but we also got Breath of the Wild 2, which is coming out in 2022.
Yeah, I wanna touch on next year when we get to the end, because next year is shaping up to be a lot better than this year, and I think there are a lot of external factors to that, but we'll get there.
Yes. Anyway, so I think we can go through the next game pretty quick.
It's Monster Hunter Stories too.
Yeah.
Not for me. Monster Hunter's not for me.
I've wanted to play the Monster Hunter series for a bit. I've been really tempted on getting Rise for us ever since it came out, because my friends have played it and they have been like, "Hey, you should get Rise," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I'll probably get it at some point." And they're like, "Hey, you should get Rise," and I'm like, "I know, I'm gonna get it at some point, and then I'll have my training arc, and we can just go freaking wreck monsters." And then we got another game series that has not gotten a game since I think the Wii, and that is
I think WarioWare had a 3DS game.
it might have, but yeah, we got a WarioWare Get It Together, which I am excited because I have always loved the WarioWare series. It's always been a treat, no matter what. And the music in the WarioWare series is always really good. So I'm very much looking forward to WarioWare. But we don't have a release date. We have just.
I thought we did.
From what I'm
Did
seeing,
it just say this year?
I believe so. From what it says, it's just near future. That's all the article says. So I don't know. But anyway.
I mean, honestly, where could they put it though this year? Because this year's kind of full now.
Great question. I can check.
It'd have to be like August or September.
Oh, never mind. It does. Available September 10th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Was
Well,
like
article's wrong. Anyway. Yeah. I'm really, really looking forward to WarioWare. Because it's WarioWare, man. And that was like fully voice acted too by Charles Martinet. And that was like really, really neat. I liked that. And then next, we have a personal favorite from
big one
from me, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5, which finally has a release date. Sure, it got leaked, but finally has a release date. We have been waiting for SMT5 news for quite a while, but Nocturne, the SMT3 remake, well, remaster really, just came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and now we're finally getting SMT5 news. Game looked really good. Like, I'm surprised it can run that well on the Switch. I hope. Like, I actually hope it runs that well on Switch. Because if it does, where's my Persona?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though...
Where's my Persona on Switch?
Especially with how well Strikers sold, like, there's definitely a market for people who want to play Persona 5 on Switch. I'm one of those people who would instantly pick up Persona 5 if it were on Switch.
Like, for me, it's not even 5. Like, I'm fine with 5 getting on Switch. I mean, I would love for the other games, like 4, because 4's on Steam, but 4 is also, like, a PS Vita game. So, like, I would love for that. Like, I'd pick it up. I'd play through 4 again, like, in a heartbeat, because I just absolutely love Persona 4. But I also have the itch to play through Persona 5 again, which if it was on Switch and it was portable, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna play it. Another thing is like I think it's really good that SMT5 is getting on Switch, is because my friend has basically this thing he says where he says almost every JRPG should be portable at least some point, because that makes it so much easier to play. Is because you can just take it, especially if you're like grinding and you're having to do just mindless things. You could just walk around, do that for like a long time, and then just while you're walking around or while you're doing something, like just do it portable. You don't have to sit down for like 3 or 4 hours and do it.
Yeah.
So it's like I hope Persona 5 comes to Switch. I would love for it, but
I could see it coming to Switch maybe next year at some point.
Hopefully.
If it doesn't come next year, it's not happening.
If it doesn't come next year, it will be Persona 6 that comes to Switch.
Yeah.
Which
and maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe they're just going to put the new Persona games on Switch. But then it's like, why not put the old ones on there too?
Who knows? We could get a Persona collection. I don't know. It's the 25th anniversary of the Persona series. So.
Well, you know what? It's the 35th of Zelda, the 35th of Metroid, the 40th of Donkey Kong, and like 10 other anniversaries, and nobody is celebrating anniversaries this year, apparently.
It's true.
I guess Mario is
true.
just so special that he gets one and nobody else does. Which I have a whole rant about that when we get to the end. Because Nintendo kind of made me mad over that.
Yeah. After that, I was surprised we got Danganronpa on we got that on Switch of all things. Because Danganronpa is boy, it's a game series. And it's all three. It is it's Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, and Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. I have only played the first case of Danganronpa 1. And I played that back in, I think, February, and I haven't played it since. I've wanted to, but I just have not been in the mood to play it because they are dark games. They're very, very dark games. But yeah, I think it's neat that all three of them are going on to Switch for, I think, probably full price, $60.
I would imagine.
Because like, if I remember correctly, both on I have both of them on Steam, and I think DR3 is the most expensive one at like $40. I think that's the one you're paying the most for. So, and I've heard really good things about the DR series. I just, man, don't know when I want to play them because I'm just never in the mood. We got Fatal Frame. After that,
it's a horror game. I'm not a horror person.
I am when I want to be, basically. I'm usually like, when I'm in the mood, I'll be like, yeah, I'll either watch or play a horror game, and then I'm like, yeah, no, never mind. So I think it's a Wii U port, actually. So
yeah, and people really complain that like, oh, Nintendo just ports over Wii U games to Switch, and I'm like, what's the problem with that? The Wii U is not a very popular console. Like, it makes great business sense to port Wii U games because not only did you get the initial Wii U sales, but you can also get the Switch sales, and the Switch has a much bigger install base for you to draw sales from.
Yeah, like, that's the thing with the Switch, is it's just a better console, and I'd much rather buy games on the Switch than on the Wii U. Like, I still own a Wii U, but I'm not going to buy Wii U games if, like,
exactly. I
know they probably will get a Switch port. Like, that is one reason why I've never actually bought an extra copy of Twilight Princess HD, is because I'm very sure we will be getting a port of that soon.
Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and I think Xenoblade Chronicles X are like the only big games that haven't been ported to Switch yet.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, by the time the Switch, within the next 4 years or 5 years of the Switch's life cycle, those games are coming to the Switch.
Probably.
Like, it's just inevitable at this point. Well, actually, hold on. I don't know about the Zelda ones.
You never know with Zelda.
You never know with Nintendo. They'll
Thank
tell you
you.
one thing one day, and then the next day it'll not be true.
Thank you, Eiji Aonuma. Anyway, after that we got Doom Eternal DLC. I haven't even played Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
so
me either.
I have absolutely no idea. Strange Brigade. I think at this point I just walked out and just like was.
Yeah,
doing
no, you
other
were
stuff.
talking to me.
I just walked out, didn't care. So like, this is all.
I
did.
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, we got Strange Brigade. I have no idea what this was. We got Mario and Rabbids.
Yep.
You know, we already talked about that with, you know, Rabid Luma. That looks just. Advance Wars. Advance Wars 1 and 2, which I know a lot of people were excited for, because I know some people who love the Advance Wars series. So I'm happy for them. I've never actually played them, but happy for them because, you know, I've heard a lot of people grew up on the Advance Wars series. So now
That's what I've heard.
we go into the big stuff.
All right. I've been very quiet this episode, but this is where I start talking a lot.
Yeah,
Because this is the stuff I was waiting for.
Yeah. All right, we got Age of Calamity stuff. You can talk about that. I've never played the game. Go.
Age of Calamity DLC looks really good. I predicted that it was going to drop this week because it just had a generic June 30th date, and I was like, yeah, that's going to get shadow dropped at E3. And it did. It comes out on Friday, June 18th. Looks great. Zelda gets the Master Cycle. Link gets a whippy weapon, and you can play as Guardians. So it has me really excited for the second half of the DLC that comes out in November, because it adds more character vignettes, which is like more cutscenes and stuff. So I'm down for that. Moving on, we got a little bit more. Did we really get anything new on Skyward Sword? Like,
we got them spoiling about half the game.
Aonuma just got on and was like, "Hey, don't forget
Yeah.
about Skyward Sword, please. It's coming out."
Yeah. Half of the scenes they showed. I understand it's like a 10-year-old game, but this is an HD remake of a game that not many people wanted to play because they heard it was bad. So it's like they literally showed a shot from the end of the game, and I was just like, "What the heck?" And then they showed an even more spoilery scene, and I was just like, "What the heck?" I mean,
Yeah.
I understand it's no context, but wow. Okay, Aonuma.
And it's like, you know, he's on and he's like, "Hey, don't forget about Skyward Sword. This is a game." And then we come to find out, like, "Oh, haha, this is the only Zelda game you're getting this year. Buy it, please."
But Nick, you can't forget about the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch system.
Shut up. That's not a Zelda
that
game.
has
That's just
the
a cash grab
Zelda
item.
1, Zelda 2, and Link's Awakening.
Dude,
all in
everyone
one.
gets a Game & Watch. Name a franchise that doesn't have a freaking Game & Watch at this point. Like, when Nintendo wants to
Metroid.
put out a collectible, instead of coming up with something new and original and interesting, they're just like, Game & Watch.
Metroid.
Game & Watch, take it.
Metroid hasn't gotten a Game & Watch.
Okay, but you understand my point.
Star Fox hasn't gotten a Game & Watch.
Oh, Star Fox hasn't gotten a new game since the Wii U.
That's also true.
Star Fox has been dead for years. I really
we
want
need,
them to bring back Star Fox on the
we-
Switch, though.
Like, yeah, we need.
Listen. Nintendo, now is the time for you to get experimental and crazy with the Switch, because it's been the number one selling console for the last 2.5 years. Your sales are through the roof, and now is the time for you to be like, you know what? Let's do a new Star Fox. Let's do a new Mario and Luigi. Let's bring out all of these old
Mario and Luigi is never gonna happen again.
you know,
Like,
that's
no.
really depressing.
No, I mean, like, the whole studio is shut down.
Oh, well then, never mind. Could
Yeah,
go for a new
like-
Kid Icarus, though.
Like, what happened, I believe, was they were trying to figure out which series was going to be the main Mario RPG stuff. And Mario and Luigi actually came ahead in that. And then they went bankrupt.
Oof.
So, yeah, Mario and Luigi is, like, never going to happen again.
Which is a shame, because the one on the 3DS was really fun.
Which one?
Dream Team.
Okay. There were, like, two. yeah, like I would have loved the more Mario and Luigi games.
Now, let me go off on Aonuma for a second here.
Okay.
Listen. Actually, maybe not Aonuma, but maybe Nintendo as a whole here. Listen, I'm so glad we got a new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. I don't want that to be understated at all. It's very impressive that they've come back and shown us something new from the game, and after like all this time of waiting and waiting and waiting, we get something new. But I want to know why we still don't have a title for this game. Regardless of whether or not it's coming out March next year or December next year, why do we still not have a title for this game? There's no title, there's no box art, which, you know, maybe box art they haven't finalized yet because it is coming out holiday next year. But why do we still not have a title? Like, you have to have a title at this point. Even a working title that's not Breath of the Wild 2. Because at some point, it's just people, you're going to give it a subtitle, and people are just going to say, no, that's Breath of the Wild 2. That's not whatever the subtitle is. And it's going to get lost, and your super cool subtitle is never going to happen. Now, a second thing is, Aonuma said during the Direct, the Game & Watch was the only thing. They have the way he specifically worded it was, we have no campaigns or new Nintendo Switch games coming for the anniversary. Which, to me, you know, if you want to get really technical, they're like, well, if you port Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, those aren't technically new. And I'm like, no, he was looking at you and saying, this is all you're getting for the 35th anniversary. Remember last year when we like blew out Mario and he got like 2 different games? He got a Wii U port, a Game & Watch, a new Mario Kart thing. Yeah, no, you get a Zelda Game & Watch. That's it. You don't even get your big Breath of the Wild 2 this year. Nope. And you're just getting Skyward Sword and Age of Calamity DLC.
He's
Nothing.
not wrong.
And it's like, why? And Nintendo did this to themselves. Nintendo
really
can't blame
did.
anyone other than themselves because they did this huge blowout for Mario. They could not have gone into this year thinking, oh, people aren't going to expect anything from Zelda's 35th. And it's like, well, you know what? Maybe they do have more planned. Maybe they just want to get Skyward Sword out the door and selling, and then in August or September, they'll be like, oh, by the way, here's a specific release date and title for Breath of the Wild. Here's, you know, more ports, more stuff. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know, and I honestly don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this is all we're getting. I think Aonuma was very serious in what he was saying.
I mean, maybe he wants to have, like... Maybe he wants to have almost like all hands on deck for Breath of the Wild 2. I don't know.
And I mean, I understand that, but do you really need anyone from the Zelda team to not... Like, would anyone need to leave that team to work on ports of games that have already been HD remastered? Like, you could outsource that to someone else. If you really wanted to.
You're not wrong.
It just seems like overall a lack of... Not planning, but like just a lack of willingness to do anything after like making such a big fuss about Mario's anniversary. And what makes it even weirder is they've celebrated every fifth anniversary for Zelda since like the 20th anniversary. And now not doing anything this year just seems really weird. And you know, maybe COVID had something to do with that. Maybe COVID had something to do with that, and there was more planned, and, you know, COVID really screwed everything up. If that was the case, okay. Not really much I can say and get mad at that about, because COVID screwed up a lot of stuff. I think if COVID weren't a thing, we would get Breath of the Wild 2 this year, but I think last year was kind of shoddy for them, so... But anyway, my rant's out of the way. We got a new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
That we did.
Finally. It looks interesting. I'm not going to lie, after watching the trailer, I was very hyped. I literally could not collect my thoughts to process what I had just seen. My whole body was shaking. Like, I was in shock. Because after Aonuma said, like, oh yeah, this all you're getting is the Game & Watch, I was like, oh. So that means no Breath of the Wild 2 this year. It's 2022, and God knows if they're even going to show anything today. Like, I thought that was it. I thought they were going to end on the Game & Watch and be done. But no, he came out, pulled out another trailer, and I was like, all right, man, fine. I'm down. I'll take it.
Yep.
I'm really excited we're going back to the sky, though.
Oh, yeah. It makes a lot of sense as to why they released Skyward Sword when they did. Even though it's the 10-year anniversary for Skyward Sword, it really makes a lot of sense with a lot of the mechanics and stuff like that are in this game. But basically, going through this whole trailer, Ganondorf's back. That's cool. Yeah, Ganondorf's back.
Also, gotta point out, Ganondorf starts the direct by dying and then comes back at the very end.
He's not wrong, but Link his arm kinda gets yeeted. Zelda dies, for some reason.
That was one thing that kind of disappointed me. Was like that infers that she's just gonna be the damsel in distress to save again, which is really disappointing. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they do, like, the thing where you switch back and forth, and there's, like, a whole sub-story with playable Zelda in the caves, and you got Link in the sky, and then at some point they converge together at Hyrule Castle. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, you know what that sounds a lot like?
A Lego game?
No, that sounds a lot like a game that goes by the name of Yakuza 0.
Breath of the Wild 2 is a Yakuza game confirmed.
Yo, I would not mind that.
Breath of the Wild 2 is canon to the Yakuza universe. What can I say?
I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, so Link's in the sky. He's vibing. A lot of Hyrule is in the sky. So
Breath of the Wild 2 looking a lot like Fortnite.
If I could leave this Discord call right now, I would do it. Like, I would leave this Discord call.
No, he's falling from the sky. I'm curious where he's falling from, though. Like, because it looks like the sky is there. Also, where do these sky islands come from? Because this ain't Hyrule.
It is Hyrule.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it Hyrule just raised up?
Yes. The thing is, like, here's how I know it was Hyrule. Because in parts of it, like, you can kind of see parts of what is it? What is that one? I think it's Ridgeland. But you can basically see that type of area, and then parts of like Faron and stuff like that. But Hyrule Castle is kind of getting oofed by the Calamity right now.
Yeah, that sucker's going back in the sky.
Like, I also need a better look at Link's arm, because, like...
Link's arm looks really cool. Like,
it really does.
I think his whole new outfit with, like, kind of, like, the waist skirt and the half shirt, and, like, you can see the different tattoos on the right side of his body, and the arm, and the long hair. This is actually a really good look for Link, and I think it's dope.
Yo, one thing I noticed is his shield is actually, it's a Sheikah. There's a Sheikah symbol on it.
He also doesn't have the Master Sword in any of the footage.
That too.
Which goes back to my theory that the Master Sword's either going to get lost or it's going to get broken.
Probably.
One or the other.
But hang on. Let me... Though, another thing that I noticed is actually, I think half the game takes place in, like, part of the game takes place in Old Hyrule. Like, before all the stuff with Ganondorf. Because if you look at some of the stuff, Link is wearing his outfit that he wore in the trailer 2 years ago. And he has, the Traveler's Shield and stuff like that. But his arm, look at his arm, though. His arm is different.
I looked back at that footage because I was wondering the same thing, and it looks like all of the outfits will be customizable around this arm. Like,
I think so.
I think there are parts of the game where you won't have it in the beginning. I don't think it'll take up very much. Like, it'll be the first quarter of the game, maybe, where you don't have the arm, because it's a new gameplay feature. Like, you kind of got to get it in relatively early. But I think all of the outfits will then have variants for the arm. Because if you look at the one where he like stops the boulder, he's wearing the blue champion's tunic, but he's using the power of the arm to stop those boulders and throw them back, which, by the way, upgraded Sheikah runes, question mark?
Probably.
Could be pretty dope. Also, Link can phase through stuff now. I'm like...
Yeah.
This trailer honestly gave us more questions than it did answers. Because, it answered nothing. It answered nothing. It just presented us with more questions.
Also, Link gets a flamethrower.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how this game does dungeons. Like,
It looks like they're bringing back traditional dungeons based on the way he's fighting, like that thing coming down from the ceiling. Like, that seems like a very traditional dungeon
I'd
thing.
be so happy, because I'm not gonna lie, I think I was in the minority of I did not like the Divine Beasts.
No, I think you're in the majority.
Really?
I don't think a lot of people... Well, I think people liked the Divine Beasts, but prefer the original dungeons over them.
I just think the Divine Beasts were too easy.
I don't disagree.
Like, I think they were too easy, and just did not... They were short. They were very, very short. And I think that was the problem with it.
And all of the bosses were, like, reused from... Well, not reused, but they were all, like, kind of the same thing. And it was kind of boring.
Unless you're talking about Thunderblight Ganon.
Oh, no, Thunderblight Ganon is a menace. Definitely Devil Spawn right there.
Thunderblight Ganon is literally just the final boss.
I think Thunderblight Ganon is harder than Calamity Ganon. I think that's just
It is. That's the thing. It is. But
yeah, I think this trailer is really good. Definitely going to watch it on repeat for the next year, I guess. But in your humble opinion, when do you think Breath of the Wild 2 is? Because now we have a time range, which is 2022. And the way they phrased it was we're aiming for 2022, which could also mean like the darkest timeline where it gets pushed to 2023, which I would cry.
I think it's going to be the darkest timeline, honestly.
I don't like that. And I'm just like, I hear you. And I'm going to ignore what you're saying because that's not what I want to happen. I also... Nintendo's marketing plays such a big role in this because it's like you have one option where it could be March 2022, and the reason they haven't given a title or a pre-order or anything is because they don't want it to overshadow Skyward Sword. They want Skyward Sword to be out for a while and get out of the way and sell, and then they'll be like, oh, by the way, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming in March 2022. Here's a title, here's a release date, here's another trailer, which could happen depending on where they're at in, development. And then there's also the timeline where it's like, maybe it's next year's big summer game. It's June, July next year.
Yeah.
Or it's November, December next year. Or we have the darkest timeline where it's pushed back to 2023. I'm in the March 2022 camp, but I think if we don't hear anything on it for the rest of the year, it's definitely holiday next year.
Yep.
It really depends on how the rest of this year shapes up.
Which would suck, but it's very, very possible.
Yeah, and I don't like that it's possible because, like, I was so looking forward to this game coming out this year, and maybe that was me being too optimistic because I literally framed my entire 2021, like, the end of the year games plans around Breath of the Wild 2 being out. And now that it's not, I'm like, well, crap, what am I going to play? It's not like they gave me any supplemental Zelda content to fill the gap. There's just nothing.
Yeah.
So, in essence, to summarize the Direct, everybody but Zelda fans did pretty good. I mean, Zelda fans also did pretty good, but we kind of drew the short end of the stick here.
That we did.
Because all we got was a game we already know is coming out that was announced at the last Direct.
Yep.
DLC for a game that came out last year.
Uh-huh.
A Game & Watch that I don't really care about, and I think a majority of people don't care about unless you're
Pretty
hardcore.
much.
And then the biggest thing we got was a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer for a game that's probably not coming out till 2023.
Wee.
And I made a bet with one of my friends, and he was like, I think Breath of the Wild 2 is 2023. And I was like, you're nuts. Like, you're not going to win this bet. And now he's sitting here like, I don't know, maybe I could win at this point. I've lost the bet because I was team 2021. Jackson was 2022, and he's 2023. So now we have to wait and see who's going to win the bet, because it's not me. I've already lost my $10, which was kind of a pain. But, it is what it is.
Man, I wish I would have gotten in on that bet because I was already 2022.
As soon as the direct started and as soon as Mario Party and Metroid were October, I was like, yep, nope, Breath of the Wild 2 ain't this year. Because October was the last window I left open for it. And I was like, nope, nope, that's not this year. That's definitely next year. And a lot of people look at the trailer and they're like, yep, that's holiday next year. And I'm like, okay, but again, one thing is would they show the game if it weren't coming out within a year of being shown? I understand revealing it 2 years ago, but now I feel like we're within a year.
Yeah.
Max. Maybe a year and a half if you want to go to November, December next year. I don't think it's 2023. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up for debate.
Let's all hope.
Let's all cross our fingers and hope that Eiji Aonuma comes back on screen this year, which, by the way, I don't think I've ever been filled with such anxiety and tenseness on a Nintendo Direct than when he showed up. And I was like, please don't say you're not showing us anything again. Just give me something. Show me a still frame of Zelda's short hair and I'll be fine. Give me anything at this point.
Oh, okay, so going back to Super Mario Party, or not Super Mario Party, Mario Party, what is that game called again?
The new one?
The new one. It is supposed to be using the same online servers as Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, well, it's about time they upgraded their online servers for games.
It's going to look, or it's going to be much better. Mario Party Superstars, that's what it is. The connection issues will hopefully be gone. My friends who have played Monster Hunter Rise have said it is great. The connection is fantastic. There's barely any lag. So once again, please just do a firmware update on Smash.
Please.
Just
Smash is Smash has such bad connections.
Just do a firmware update. Just fix it. Just fix the online servers. It shouldn't be that hard.
See, you say that, but it's also not that hard to port any of the HD Zelda games, and they're not doing that.
Listen. It's fine.
Is it though? Is it fine?
No, it's not. But anyway.
Jackson and I deduced that Nintendo is the gaming equivalent of Disney because they will literally repackage your childhood and sell it back to you for double what you paid for it originally, and people will buy it without question.
Yep. Anyway, so that's all the games from the Direct.
Yep, that was Nintendo's E3 Direct. For me personally, it was, it was an okay Direct. Obviously excited about the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer.
Yep.
But yeah, unless you have anything else to say, I think we're done here.
I think we're done.
Alrighty.
It was good.
Yep, it was definitely good. I do have one question though. Do you think we're gonna get another Direct this year, or do you think this is it?
I think we might get a mini in fall, probably.
Yeah, I could see a mini Direct happening that focuses mostly on 2022 because they've already got their slate of this year pretty ironed out. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind on half the games on this list and end up picking up them, like Mario Party and Metroid. But we shall see. Well, with that being said, thanks for listening today. If you want to stay up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast or tweet us at Nerdiest Podcast. If you have feedback or a question you want to submit, you can do so through the Contact Us page on our website. And if you enjoy what we do here, consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen. You can also share the podcast with your friends, as word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. Again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Wait, we have a website now?